Okay, listen closely because this is one of those topics that can make your stomach drop just hearing it. Banks could freeze your Social Security. That headline alone is enough to cause panic. And if Social Security is your lifeline for rent, groceries, medications, utilities, the idea of your money suddenly being frozen is terrifying. You work your whole life, you depend on that deposit, and then one day, nothing. No warning, no access. So let's slow this down. Take a breath, because what I'm about to explain is going to replace fear with clarity. First, let's get something straight right from the start. Banks do not randomly freeze Social Security benefits. There is no new rule that allows banks to just wake up one morning and decide you can't touch your money. Your benefits themselves are not being cut, reduced, or secretly suspended. But, and this is important, there are situations where your account activity can trigger a temporary hold. And that's usually what people mean when they say freeze. And most of the time, it has nothing to do with your Social Security being taken away. Let's talk about what actually happens behind the scenes. When your Social Security payment is deposited, it goes electronically through the banking system. It moves from the federal payment system into your bank through secure electronic networks. Normally, this process is automatic and smooth. You don't see it, you don't feel it, it just shows up. But banks also have fraud detection systems running 24/7. These systems monitor accounts for unusual activity. Not because you did anything wrong, but because identity theft, scams, and account takeovers are extremely common. If something looks unusual, the system can temporarily restrict access until it verifies everything is legitimate. That temporary restriction is what people experience as a freeze. Now let me give you real examples of what can trigger this. One common reason is suspicious login activity. If someone tries to access your account from a new device, a different location, or multiple failed password attempts happen, the bank may lock the account automatically to protect you. Another trigger can be large, unexpected withdrawals. If your account normally has steady deposits and small purchases, and suddenly there's a big transfer or unusual transaction, the system may pause activity to confirm it's really you. Sometimes freezes happen because of identity verification issues. If your bank needs updated information, maybe your address changed, maybe your ID expired, maybe paperwork wasn't completed, they can temporarily limit access until it's resolved. And here's something many people don't realize. Outstanding debts can also lead to legal freezes, but only under court orders. Banks don't decide that on their own. That requires formal legal action. But let me emphasize something very clearly. A freeze on your bank account does not mean your Social Security benefits are gone. Your benefits are protected under federal law from most types of debt collection. They cannot simply be taken away because someone wants to access your account. However, if money is already inside your account and there is a legitimate legal order, that's when complications can happen. That's rare. But it's important to understand the difference between benefits and bank account funds. Now let's talk about something that causes unnecessary panic every single month. Timing. Sometimes people assume their account is frozen simply because their deposit hasn't posted yet. But delays happen, weekends, holidays, bank processing times, all of these can shift when money appears. If you expect your deposit on a Wednesday morning and it doesn't show up until later in the day, that is not a freeze. That's normal banking timing. Panic often starts in the first few hours. But here's the golden rule. If your deposit is late, don't immediately assume the worst. First, check the payment schedule. Make sure it's actually the correct pay date for your situation. Second, log into your account and see if there are any alerts or messages from your bank. Third, call your bank directly. Not Social Security first, your bank. They can see immediately if there's a hold, a verification flag, or simply pending processing. Most account restrictions can be resolved with one phone call and identity confirmation. Now let's talk about something important: prevention. There are simple steps you can take today to reduce the chance of your account ever being frozen unexpectedly. Keep your contact information updated with your bank. If your phone number changes, update it immediately. Many fraud alerts rely on text verification. Make sure your account details are accurate and current. If you move, notify your bank right away. Use strong passwords and enable two-factor authentication if available. This dramatically reduces the risk of unauthorized access. Avoid sharing your banking information with anyone, even if they claim to be from a government agency. Real agencies do not ask for your full banking credentials over the phone. And if you ever receive a call saying your account is frozen and you must transfer money somewhere to unfreeze it, that is almost always a scam. Hang up and call your bank directly using the official number. Now, let's address the fear head-on. If your account does get temporarily frozen, it is usually fixable quickly. In many cases, the bank just needs confirmation of identity. That's it. It does not mean you're in trouble. It does not mean your social security is being taken away. It does not mean you did something wrong. It usually means the system is trying to protect you. Yes, it can be frustrating. Yes, it can cause stress, especially if you rely on that money for immediate expenses. But the freeze itself is almost always a security pause, not a permanent action. And here's the part I really want you to remember. A temporary hold is not a benefit cancellation. A security verification is not a government penalty. A banking system alert is not the Social Security Administration taking your money. Those are completely different things. The system is designed to protect your funds from fraud. And unfortunately, fraud attempts are increasing, which means banks are more cautious than ever. Sometimes caution can feel like inconvenience, but the intention is protection. So what should you do today? First, make sure your bank contact information is current. Second, check that your direct deposit details are accurate. Third, enable account alerts so you get notified immediately if anything unusual happens. And fourth, stay calm if something looks off. Verify before reacting. Most financial problems are solved faster when people respond calmly instead of panicking. At the end of the day, the goal isn't to scare you, it's to prepare you. When you understand how bank security systems work, you stop assuming the worst. You know the difference between a fraud alert and a real legal issue. You know when to call the bank. You know when to wait. And you know that your Social Security benefits themselves are not being secretly frozen. Knowledge replaces fear. And when you're informed, you're in control. So if someone asks you about this headline, banks could freeze your Social Security, now you can explain what it really means. It's not about your benefits disappearing. It's about account security systems doing their job. And the more you understand that, the less power fear has over you.